Coming to you live from the cradle of motherfucking civilization. It's time for Destiny Down Under.
Welcome to the 125th episode of the Destiny Down Under podcast. My name is Log Powerslave, and as always, I am joined by Real-Time Sloth and Mylan Games. How you going, guys?
What was that intro?
Don't know. It's been a big few days, Matt.
I hated out of 100, how many? 125 intros.
Yep.
That is your worst intro I've ever. It is.
Yeah, I know. It was down there. It was even worse than the time.
Should we close the stream and start again?
No, everyone take 5, go and make a coffee. We'll stop the stream, we'll start the stream, and we'll go again.
Hang on.
The only way you could have made that worse is if you said like, comment, and subscribe before we said anything.
All right, hang on. We'll go again, all right?
Coming to you live from the cradle of motherfucking civilization. It's time for Destiny Down Under.
What up, fam? It's your boy Log Powerslave back. Oh my god! Fuck this podcast.
Stop it. Fucking stop it.
Anyway,
How have you been this week, Sloth?
how's your ass?
Fucking Christ almighty. So if you guys can see over my left shoulder here, you can see what remains of my AK racing chair, because first of all, it broke. The lumbar support broke. I was like, okay, cool. And then the fucking, where the chair connects to the gas lift has sheared itself off. So I'm sitting on a dining chair. My ass hurts.
Dude, it was immediately apparent to anyone watching this live because your chin is the bottom of the frame. This week on the DDU podcast, Gimli, son of Gloin. That's shit. I'd be so cranky too because those things aren't fucking cheap, man.
And how old's the chair?
The AK racing chair I got about this time last year.
It's only a year old.
Yeah.
So you get a replacement?
Yeah, I had to ring the ergonomic chair place this morning. The one that has been the ones that I've been talking to through my OT for months, and they just said, "Yeah, we've got yours in, but it's going to cost you $600 straight off the bat." So, yay!
Wait.
Jesus.
Oh, you ordered a custom one, did you?
No, this is just one that I have to get because of my spine being shit.
Oh, okay. Well, that's not good news.
No,
that's sad. That's a sad note to start the podcast, and much like the 12 this week, there's nowhere to go upwards either.
Well, just know we'll keep making fun of you, and there were lots of share jokes that we could have made, but we just let it slide. Okay?
I'd like to think that they offer some kind of insurance for having a big ass. You pay $5 a week, and if you manage to obliterate your
how's
chair.
your week been, Matt? Has it been a good week?
Yeah.
I hope it's been a good week.
I think Long has just absorbed all the toxicity of Twitter, and he's just. Do you know that Rick and Morty episode where they get rid of their toxins and they're like the toxic people? We've got the toxic Log in.
I'm the toxic crusader this week.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, my week's been
Crusader.
good. My week's been good. We Well, I say it's been good. I had my fourth and last Anthem contracted video. That, to be honest, I'll probably talk about on here because I probably won't make a video about it. I've learned from mistakes. I did not check any of the comments because I knew it would just literally ruin my day. For those that don't know, I signed a contract way back in February before Anthem was released to make four videos about Anthem, and I'd finished this video months ago, maybe not months ago, a month ago, and it kept just getting it pushed back just because Anthem wanted to make some achievements, and wanted to improve the game, and I was sort of happy pushing it back too because I was like, of course, like I would prefer that the game be good when I release content, but as you know, it was like I should have just ripped the Band-Aid off because then the Kotaku article came out, and then all this other, then they made more changes and it got worse and worse and worse, and I was like, they wanted me to push it back again. I was like, look, I think we need to get this out, let people enjoy it and who enjoy it, and
It's
move
such
on.
a shame. It's such a shame.
It's not you, it's me.
It's not you. It's not me. It's you.
It's you. I had to have it's not me, it's you conversation. And break up with Anthem.
It's such a shame though, because it had so much promise.
Yeah.
It had so much promise, and it's such a shame that it just mismanagement from BioWare's part,
there's lots
and
of
then
stuff there.
my God.
Anyway. If people are wondering, the only thing that I feel, look, I'm already going to podcast mode, but let me just finish that off. I think there are sort of two insights from this. The first insight is, of course, you need to be ahead of the trend. So if it did take off, you obviously want to be invited to capture events, and you want a good working relationship with EA and all that kind of stuff. So you sort of need to, get on the boat before it sets sail. But then once things are sort of maybe going badly, my recommendation from now on is to not postpone content and change dates around.
Just get it out and get it angry.
Get it out, get it done, move on, and don't re-sign contracts once the game's out until you can see it improving. What are you giggling about,
I'm just laughing at Sloth mixing up his advice for nasty times and content creation. I guess they're one and the same thing. So we can.
That was my week. But Gamma Trap did some freaking awesome artwork.
What a machine!
Some of the artwork he does for Anthem is just. It is really, really good, and I'm a big fan. In my opinion, Gamma Trap has two really big strengths. One is his comic book style. When he does thick lines, when he does comic book style artwork, thick lines,
2 C's. I think so.
Three
C's,
three C's probably. And when he does landscapes, so he had this beautiful landscape image of a titan coming out of a cataclysm with these tiny, almost called them guardians, freelancers in the foreground. It was really beautiful. So the artwork's just amazing for it. So I was happy with that. Well, we're moving on.
He got paid.
Yeah.
He got paid.
Yep, I paid him more.
Good job. What a guy.
Money.
I had a big week this week. I had a big announcement with the fucking stupid parody songs finally being on Spotify after me jumping through legal hoops for what feels like 400,000 years. But now they're there.
That was a thing. So I don't know if you knew, Matt, but I didn't know that you were going through this. Nick didn't let us know. Keg didn't let us know. Fucking dickhead here didn't let us know. There was he just come out on Twitter is like, yeah, hey, it's out on Spotify, and we're like, what the fuck?
Yeah, it was one of those things that I was never sure I was going to be able to pull it off, so I didn't want to say I was going to do it and then not be able to do it because there's a lot of. It's still not 100%. I'm sure there could be challenges to things come back and whatnot and it get ugly, but I'm going to do that and I'm going to start a Bandcamp as well. So it'll be, people will be able to get them one way or another. And that's really all it was about for me.
Let's just back up a second. So all your parody songs that have been on YouTube are now available on Spotify. Is that what you're telling me?
Yes.
And what does this And what is this Bandcamp about?
Bandcamp's like basically a site for supporting indie musicians. So I haven't set it up yet. It was mentioned to me after I did the Spotify thing yesterday, but I think it might be
You're a musician?
Apparently. I've at least fooled people into thinking that. But it'll be a bit of an easy. It's an easier path. With getting something on Spotify, there's a lot of cost in getting it out there to begin with, and I kind of sucked it up for this to just firstly see if I could do it at all and see how far down the line I could get, which has worked out well. But at the same time, I can't really be doing that for every single, for want of a better term. So it's like basically there's one album or whatever you want to look at it as, and it's everything I've done sort of over the last year, and Keg's done a bit like some epic artwork and shit for it. So
that's really cool.
That's up there. But for doing sort of like, as I release a single, I think what I'm going to do going forward is put it up on YouTube and put the audio up on Bandcamp so people can get it and stream it and all that sort of shit in the interim. And then maybe every however long it takes me to pull my finger out and get an album worth of songs, and then I'll do an upload to Spotify sort of 6 monthly or whatever. That's the plan. So I was actually able to do it. So I'm pretty happy with that. So it's out there. If you want to go on Spotify, go and give it a spin.
Congratulations.
Etsy's figuring out how to virtual bot it so that it just plays for forever and I get paid lots of money, but I don't think that's really going to work.
Just play it on repeat, and when you get sick of his voice, just unsub from the podcast, unfollow the podcast, unfollow his stream, and
when you get sick of my voice, just imagine what it's like to be my wife. There you go.
Or your mates, or your brother.
Everyone else, yeah.
Sorry. Anyway, so this week, ladies and gentlemen, I don't really have anything. I don't really have much witty to say anyway, but it's been a thing.
Yeah, the 12 this week. Look, let's rip the Band-Aid off, and I'll play a tiny little bit of music, and then we'll come back and we'll game phases on, and we'll get through it, and then we'll talk about it. Okay. God give us strength.
So, first of all, there are certain people in the community. Now, we don't name names. None of us on our personal streams name names. We don't name names here on the podcast. There are certain people in the community who are, I don't like this term, but it is what it is, community leaders who are acting like this is the worst thing since
all I can think of is sliced bread, but that doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, slicing is the best.
Acting like it's the worst thing since Alabama's recent vote.
Oh wow! Let's not. Oof.
No,
look, I think the thing with it is, there's people, and we're not taking away from people's right to feel the way they feel. Like if you're upset with the changes, that's fine. I can totally understand and in parts agree. And we'll get to that in a minute. But fuck me, some of the shit takes I've seen flying around. I think that while we're not going to get into it, we just needed. I think that, well, at least me and Sloth did. I think Matt can sit in his little bubble of law and not really need to worry about it.
When I was live streaming before, we went from law and everyone was chill. Then we went to talking about the TWAB, and it was like everything's on fire. Then I'm like, look, I'm just going to play some calm Destiny music. I'm going to return back to the law. Everyone come back in my protective law bubble.
So the big thing is that there are some the changes to exotics for the upcoming season of Opulence and for the raid Crown of Sorrows.
So
first and foremost,
a lot of these changes look like they're in response to the raid. That's sort of the unsaid truth of. Well, this is the unsaid sort of speculation of this. Is they sort of set it up to like level.
Yeah, and I think that's ultimately it. But there's pros and cons for that as well. So if you want to just blast through them, Slothy, we'll touch base on what they all are in case for some reason people haven't seen the nuclear fucking explosion that happened over the last few days. And then we'll dive back into our takes on it, and we'll, I think we can spitball and try and put a positive spin on things and how we would do things differently.
Reading this verbatim from the TWAB guys, because I didn't take any notes. Season of Opulence is on fast approach, and similar to past seasons, some sandbox changes will arrive with it last week. We set your sights on a new raid that begins on June 4th, the same day as the new season launches 6 hours after the patch drops. We wanted to let you know what to expect from the new sandbox so you can plan accordingly. The Destiny dev team has the details. For the Season of Opulence, several notable weapons are being adjusted, and this is for the encounters, endgame content, PvP, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
The first one off the bat that a lot of people are really upset about is Whisper of the Worm. Whisper of the Worm has, if you do not know what this weapon is, Whisper of the Worm has a unique perk called White Nail. If you hit 3 crit shots in a row, it pulls ammunition from the ether to refill your magazine.
Yeah.
So White Nail will, the change is White Nail pull ammunition from the reserves rather than creating it from the ether, and reserve ammunition has been increased to 18. So last night I did a raid with Jay. I don't have any sniper ammo perks on my armor. 9 shots, including the 3 in the magazine. 12 shots, up to 18. That's okay. 6 more shots, right?
Yep.
So
Sleep.
do you want to talk about it as we go through?
I think that's the best approach. Otherwise, we're gonna mire ourselves down
So
now. I think with this. Sorry, Slothy, you go, mate.
So last night I was speaking to at least my community, and I don't think it's a huge change. The game existed prior to Whisper of the Worm. The game will exist post Whisper of the Worm. I was actually reminded that Black Spindle had this change happen in D1.
Yeah, we've seen this change before.
We've seen this change
before,
and they reverted it back.
This
to the
exact
OG.
change before, and I am a little bit. I was a little bit, but I was a little bit sort of taken aback that they would revert that change, but it is what it is.
Yeah.
They've increased the ammunition to 18, which is 6 more shots, 2 more magazines, and that's not including ammunition, perks on armors and on your and so forth.
Yeah. So I can definitely see both sides of this. I can see that, Whisper is just always in your heavy slot, especially going into a new raid, because if any boss has a precision spot that's easy to
Which
hit,
most of them do, yeah.
It's like game over. Like it's like easy win, easy clap. So I understand where it's coming from. My concern is that the overall sort of nerfs is getting back to what happened in Destiny 2, where exotics didn't feel exotic. And I don't think Whisper of the Worm will feel exotic. I feel like it needs something different if you're going to get rid of that, because basically,
how does it not feel exotic? Like every
I don't think
3 critical shots. If you hit 3 critical shots, you can continually fire. And with box breathing, especially against Scourge of the Past boss Insurrection Prime, that's 300,000 damage per shot.
My rebuttal is this, right?
Yep.
When do you ever do DPS not standing in front of a Titan barricade that automatically reloads your gun anyway, or standing on a rift with lunafactions on?
Not always.
Not always, but what I'm saying is, like, if you're coordinating with a team, there's definitely, like, I would pick another exotic over Whisper of the Worm, because I could find a sniper maybe that would out deep. I don't know enough about.
I don't think there is a
DPS
sniper that can. I do not think there is a sniper that can out DPS the Whisper at the moment.
I think it'll swing back to Darcy. I think it'll swing back to Darcy.
That's my thoughts on that specific one.
Yeah,
I think the thing that I am taking out of this, and I've read a fuckload of Twitter and sort of distilled a lot of opinion and used it to sort of, like I read everyone's posts, whether I agree with them or not, and try and use that to sort of balance things out. For mine, the people that are hurt most by this nerf aren't the people like Ninja is in stream, or the Glads of the world, or the people in the Vanguard that are, or the first people that are going to blitz through this raid. Sure, it'll have an impact on how quickly they can get it done, but these guns that are like the go-to no-brainer kind of loadout guns are the guns that are used by the people who maybe aren't so skilled to level the playing field somewhat. And I think that is an important part of Destiny at the same time, that not right when a raid's dropped are we talking that those people are going through it, but later in the season or whatever, in the cycle of content, I think it's important that we do have weapons like this that maybe they are a bit fucking OP, but they help people who maybe aren't quite on the skill level to get through the content. And I'm not saying that's almost like easy mode, but it's one of those things where it's a gun that you could go out and pick up from a place where you knew you were going to be able to get it. It wasn't a chance drop. It was something that you could use to really quite quickly strengthen your loadout for raiding, even if you were relatively new to the game. I think that is an important part of this that is kind of like, well, it's gone because of, like that the perk really effectively, if you're running in a team that has Rally Barricade or it does nothing. So I totally understand why people are pissed off with that. I get it. But these things are inevitable too.
With the current raids.
Sorry, Slothy, go.
No. Sorry, mate. I spoke over you.
I was just going to say that, like, these things are inevitable because of the nature of that, right? Like, it's a double-edged sword. Like, it's great that you have this gun that's a no-brainer and helps level the playing field and all this sort of stuff. But it's also, this gun makes content more easy. And when you put it in the hands of someone who is extremely capable, they can then, we end up, as we spoke about with Ninja last week, with, the Scourge of the Past, where the clear was just so fast. And I mean, I'm not sure whether Whisper played a factor in that. I didn't actually catch the race. It was like in the middle of the night our time.
It did.
But I think that that's a factor as well. Like, I can understand why they're doing it now, but do I think it could be managed better and there's a better system for doing it? Fucking oath. And we can get into that down the line.
I don't know, because this is the impression I get, is that, like, all right, if you don't nerf Whisper, basically you're going to make every precision shot tiny, so it's hard for people to hit it.
Yeah, and then that punishes the average player as well.
And then, I don't know, man. The interesting thing that you said then, which I hadn't really thought of, is like guns have like a cycle, and how powerful they are depends on that cycle. So, for example, at the end of a cycle, it's much easier to have exotics stupidly fun and break stuff. Once people have completed raids in that. So it's easy to introduce powerful exotics at the end of a season or a cycle. Yeah. Having them at the beginning of the cycle really stuffs up the challenge and the design of the content. And it's almost like Whisper needs to be like nerfed for the beginning of the cycle and then just return to what it was.
Do you want me to tell you my idea? I had this idea half an hour ago in the shower before we started the thing, and I'm ready to
Were you drinking in the shower again?
No, I wasn't. Thank you, Matt. I know you're worried about me. What if... Now, this is the thing. I was like, well, how do you manage that? How do you get into new content and jump into a new raid without having to functionally crush guns? Right, because that's the issue here. That's why this has happened. It's power creep, and it's always going to happen. Well, what if we had a system in game where guns went through this cycle, and it was a documented cycle, not in nerfs, but was actually a part of the game? I think that we've already got the answer in front of us in the form of catalysts. Right, they're in the game already, but they're permanent. If you had seasonal catalysts,
good idea,
that you could. And they can control when they're released, so they're not necessarily even in the pool when the first raid comes out, right? Or they take so long to get that they're not a factor for that point, and could, they can use them to tweak the performance of weapons and armor through the course of seasons, right? Like, so the catalyst, maybe last season's catalyst for Whisper was the white nail perk as we knew it. Maybe this season's is... It draws on your ammo pool, but your fire rate gets faster for every consecutive crit shot you hit, and it draws from your ammo pool. Anything it's a small change in the grand scheme of things.
Interesting,
You know what I mean? And I think that if people, knew that it was something that was built into the game, where it was like, okay, well, here is the catalyst for this season. You know what? Give it a fucking cool skin that comes with it too. A seasonal skin for an exotic tied to a catalyst that changes its performance for that season. Here's your Season of the Drifter catalyst, and you hit the end of the season and you go, okay, well, I don't have that anymore. I'm going to have to go and get the catalyst, next season's catalyst. I wonder what it does. I wonder what the...
Do you know what it made me think about is that rather than having a different catalyst every season, right, you would have your Whisper, which would, your standard Whisper would pull from your ammo, and the catalyst would be the original White Nail perk pulling from the ether. But something like, they obviously know what specific issue there's having, and it sounds like it's the raid. What would people think about if there was a raid debuff that deactivated certain catalyst?
Yeah,
so that Whisper wouldn't have the White Nail perk, which is the catalyst for it, when you went into this specific raid.
I think that's getting at the same thing, but in a way that would be, I'm all for these perks being in the raid at the back end of the season. Like, that's what I mean. Like,
if you want to introduce it later,
that's what I mean. Like, if you tie it to like a grind or a catalyst that's released in a mission that comes a month into the season or whatever.
We had this when you had to evolve guns. Remember when you had to get materials from the raid?
Yeah. I think
wouldn't that be interesting? Wouldn't it be interesting if you got materials from the raid that you put into Whisper to get the White Nail perk? And so the more you did it, eventually you could just smash through it because you would have Whisper the Worm back.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, it's a different way of getting to the same end goal. But I think the other thing too is we've got a lot of armor sets and shit that sit there gathering dust. Now, the Eon safe and the Eon, those gauntlet, the Titans have got the gauntlet.
Yeah.
I reckon that conceptually, where there is no perk for yourself, but the other two classes benefit from you gathering it, and it's kind of this like trust circle of each class wears their armor piece, and it gives you a buff. I think that's the coolest idea they've done with the exotics yet, but I don't think the buffs themselves make it worth it. So if you could come along and say, oh, okay, well in next season, the catalyst for that doubles the effect it used to have. And it's only committed, you're only committed to it for the length of that season. So if it's fucked, you can get rid of it. It's just, it gives it an expiry date, but it's an expiry date that people expect. I think it's a, I don't know. I mean, obviously I've only had half an hour to kind of flesh it out.
You've only had a shower thought on it.
Yeah, I've only had a shower thought on it.
I like the idea that weapons suit seasons, and that weapons also break mechanics and seasons depending on what they are. And so we know they're always going to be in a cycle of nerfing and buffing stuff to suit the content that they're making, basically. So, making something like a seasonal catalyst that just keeps changing is a way for them to basically moderate weapons to make sure that,
and formalize it so that people aren't just
enjoyable raids. Because, like at the beginning of a cycle, I do want it to be challenging. At the end of the cycle, I want to be able to take in Whisper and just fucking destroy it.
Yeah.
Right, and get it done. But at the beginning, you do want to challenge, and you do want to play with other weapons, and you do want to find the best way to solve stuff.
Yeah, and look at it from the perspective of someone like Ninja as well, where for him running it at launch or whatever is, he's got surrounded by really high level players, and he's put a team together for that purpose to go in and compete. But if you're helping people through the raid on stream at the back end of a season, like you're not there playing for fucking sheep stations, are you? You're there to help people, and if they can get that sort of, okay, you know what, go and get this catalyst, it's going to make your life a heap easier. You can then jump in and do it that way. I mean, I know that I'm pushing this idea pretty hard. I'm kind of fleshing it out as I go, but I think that, like, I'm not saying this is the answer. Maybe there's something else, but there needs to be something in the game that is documented that sort of builds this ebb and flow of the power of guns into the game itself, rather than it being, guess what, here's a nerf, cop that. And it's one of those things, like, I understand that people are upset because they, for some people that was really hard content, going and getting the whisper. It was difficult. And they feel like they've gone through all this effort to go and get it. And as much as the content, playing the content and that mission was incredible and that's a reward in and of itself, but, they struggled to get this gun and now it's, it's no good anymore. You won't need to use it. I think that's kind of crappy, where if we can develop some kind of system that sits aside from that, where this gun's always pretty good, but depending on how this, what this other aspect that comes into it does, it can be either incredible, maybe this isn't the season for it. It's, maybe it's the gun, you can use it. I think it's a way of governing.
I really like the general idea that weapons are not static. They are a cycle and they have ebbs and flows depending on the content. And I agree that I think there needs to be a system beyond nerfs and buffs. There needs to be some sort of mechanic that allows them to, adjust or at least make a weapon flexible to the content that it's being used in. And it's that sort of moves the discussion on from like nerfs and buffs to like, well, what mechanic can we introduce to at the beginning of the cycle to make sure it's level, but at the end of the cycle to make sure that it's just pure fun and insanity.
Well, the other thing is too that they could periodically release these things, and you could see fluctuations within a season of exotic armors, right? Like there's 2/3 of the exotics in the pool that you fucking never see because they're not real flash. But if at the start of the season the catalyst for one that's maybe not the best is available and it does something relatively incredible by comparison to the other default ones, you're going to go and do that and use them for a month and then change your play style up, do something different. And then when the one for your favorite armor piece becomes available in the second month of the season, you go, oh, well, you're back on it. And then maybe the third month, there's some crazy shit happens to something that you never use, and you go, oh, I might give that a go just for the sake of variety. Yeah. So I don't know. I think there's definitely ways there to tweak it. I'm not, as I said, I haven't had a whole heap of time to flesh it out, but that's kind of what I think would really help with it. Anyway, I wanted to save that for the end because I thought it was a positive way of closing out the discussion of nerfs, but now we've gone off prematurely and we've still got nerf talk to get through.
Logs gone off prematurely. What
it's a surprise. Happens to a lot of men every now and then, Matt.
I really like those ideas. Like, I think they've... well, I would say they're very well thought out, but they're not. But they're very intelligent. Well, they're r/shower thoughts, but
they're a wonderful knee-jerk reaction. That's about it.
They're wonderful. That's a wonderful idea. That's a really wonderful idea. Now I'm on the boat that they're setting up. They're setting up to make the raid as level as possible for people to get in as much as they can, and that's fine. Like you don't want people using you don't want people using like the tier 1 weapons that can break the game, because they've got testers there. Who's the person that just left the DCP to go and
Holtz
test?
has gone to be a tester.
Holtz has gone to do the testing, and I'm not saying it's anybody that we know or out there.
Yeah, he wouldn't have started yet.
I think he has,
but they've tested this, and it's quite.
But these changes wouldn't have been from.
Oh
him.
yeah, sure.
No, it wouldn't be from. No, I'm not saying point the blame at the testers, but the testers have figured it out that this will break the game.
Yeah, I think that's right. Like they played it and they used this with the worm. They used all these things to not exploit, but to use their weapons to their most effective use. And they obviously smashed the raid. They're like, oh shit. And
for the people,
it's a 5-minute raid. Oh my god!
for the people who are upset, who are average players, it's a bit crap. It's a bit crap. I had someone legitimately, I tweeted out something at 3:00 this morning. It was something along the lines of, I'm really disappointed with the community. Like, be upset about it, but calling people names and,
let's not get back into that shit
jobs
again.
And I know. But someone actually reached out to me. Leyland Gaming reached out to me and said, I actually did this and I'm really quite sorry. And he asked me to, bring that up on the podcast, but people need to realize that Bungie doesn't owe them anything.
Yeah, true.
I had a few friends come into the stream last night, and they were saying things like, "I really wish that Bungie would involve us in the decision making, put a post out on Reddit or something like that." Well, no, they don't want to. They don't have to.
They're doing the summits and they're doing the stuff. And
no. But they don't have to. But they're doing the summits. But he's like, yeah, get a Reddit post out there, and it's just like the community is so sectioned. It's so closed off. Like the PvP is closed off from the PvE, is closed off from blah, is closed off from blah. The decisions wouldn't be made.
Yeah,
there would
every
be no
pocket
decisions
of the
made.
community has something different, that they want to see. And
yeah, for sure.
I think it's really easy to have a gut reaction to stuff and to respond in anger. I'm sure people say and curse and do whatever, and they usually probably wouldn't say those kind of things. And
yeah,
something like Twitter is very easy just to scream into the internet void.
It really is. But the thing is, though, is that you don't get to tell people how to do their job. You don't get to tell people to do that. We've spoken about this before. Now, I'm not really a fan of the Whisper of the Worm change. I'm really not, because I'm an average player and I miss my shots a lot.
Can we give a shout out to Chucky's comment in the chat just before? He nearly buckled me. I'll read it out verbatim. Us average players can't hit our shots anyway, so the nerf has no impact. Actually, it'll make it better for you because you'll get more ammo in the magazine. You're not relying on the three.
Yeah, well, I mean, like, and that's the thing as well. They've upped the ammunition, so they've taken away the reward, so to speak, but there are other weapons out there. All right, so the Whisper replaced the EP sniper, yeah, with box breathing and all that sort of shit.
Yeah, true. Yeah, when it came along, it did. It was kind of a matter before that.
Now the EP sniper, like snipers have box breathing. They can roll with box breathing.
The EP sniper or Darcy or something like that.
Yeah, they can roll with box breathing and all that sort of.
The early contender to take over that.
Hey, can I throw this out? Because someone said it in chat before, and it sort of combines both ideas with what you're talking about with this cycle of weapons. What if the previous content was locked at 700 until the end of the cycle, or till halfway through the cycle? So like you could have Sleeper, no nerfs to it, but because it was going to drop your power level so much, maybe it's not worth taking into the raid.
I mean, it's another way.
Oh, but the raid's only 715, isn't it? So it's not really
initially. I mean, by the final encounter, I think it'll probably be higher than that. But I mean, that's a hard and fast solution. I think. I'm not saying it's not a.
Or I mean, what I was thinking is like you have a catalyst that
allows you to upgrade
the catalyst, allows it to be infusible up to max. So anything from the previous season gets this catalyst on it. And once you got X kills with it or done whatever, then it unlocks it to be available in that season.
Maybe.
Another.
Should we go into some of the other changes, or do you want to just keep?
They mainly just affect warlocks and hunters, and no one really cares.
Sleeper stimulant and wolves.
I didn't realize the Sleeper was getting a change actually, but I just wanted to touch on this as well. Is that if this content blows it out of the park, and I'm paraphrasing you, Log. If this content blows it out of the park, no one's going to fucking worry about this.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think that's the other problem with this TWAB in general is that there was a lot of smacks and not a lot of cuddles, for want of a better term. You know what I mean? There was a lot of like, this is bad, and then this is bad, and then this is bad, and also buy a t-shirt with Trevor on it or whatever. And everyone was like, what the fuck? I think in that respect, it was probably not the best managed, but who am I to say that? I'm the fucking community dude.
Yeah. Anyway, I hear.
So this is the change that I got a little confused about. last night because I hadn't slept, which is more than usual anyway. The changes to the sleeper, the reduction of bounce shot damage for the sleeper simulant is already present on several important enemies. We're now making this reduction part of the weapon. The difference in damage is too large between a single precision shot of sleeper simulant and an angled shot that pierces the target but then also hits the target again with bounce projectiles. Much like the Whisper, we've had to adjust around that potential by making these changes a permanent part of the weapon. We can get it into a more balanced position. Reduced ricochet bounce damage on boss combatants, but a modified precision behavior. Total damage is unchanged, but the non-precision shots are significantly more forgiving. So the way I read that is that you don't have to be as precise with what is perpetuated to be a fucking railgun.
What I read that as is, in the new raid, there's an enemy that's literally inside a fucking box.
Yeah, that was what I was getting at. There's an enemy with a wall behind it with a big fucking crit spot.
Yeah, that's how I read that. In the new raid, I'm just going to rewrite this for you. In the new raid, Crown of Sorrow, there is one particular boss that's basically inside a fucking box, and if you shoot your sleeper simulant at it, he just literally vaporizes. Just a laser show.
Yeah. All right, so we're going to forgive Sothy. Sothy's got to get up and walk around because he's on a shit chair this week. So, I mean, thankfully, I think he's got up before the back sweats really set in, so we didn't have to suffer.
I'm also wearing a black shirt too. So
wow, dressed appropriately. Clever man.
But this is the thing that a lot of people see these changes as a negative.
Oh, I mean, they are.
And there will be more changes coming. In the following weeks, there'll be more changes coming. That I can fucking guarantee you. Well, it was a bit of a smack in the face to see only negatives and then just buy a shirt. But there will be more changes coming. Trust me on that much.
So here's like something like what they should have hinted at, and this would have been nice, is that let's hope that the raid launches really well and the new content is received really well. And they introduced some really cool new exotics, right? Because if this stuff sort of falls away, you sort of want it to be replaced by the next coolest thing. And people will forget, whatever the next awesome sniper is or the next cool acting fusion rifle is, like people have a very short memory if you give them something new. Like, oh, piece of candy.
Oh yeah, that's what I mean. If the fucking content's there and it's good enough, no one's going to give a shit at all. I mean, people will still be upset because it's, this is some people's favorite gun. I don't use Whisper all that often, so it's not something that affects me all that much, or Sleeper for that matter, or, Lord of Wolves, I was using it a bit in Gambit, so maybe I'm a little bit upset, but really I'm largely unaffected by this sort of stuff. So I think unless we can, there's always something else that rises up, I think, is the thing. Slothy, do you want me to take over reading out these changes, mate, if you're outside, or have you got your little iPad?
So no, I've hang on, just give me a sec. I'll just open up the app. I'll read it off. But if you want to read the next part about the armor pieces,
I'll do
go for it.
Yeah, right. Lord of Wolves received. Why? Oh man, fancy being on a fucking podcast. Yeah, no, I just had a stroke.
Let me do that again. I'll read Lord of Wolves.
I'm gonna start going to diction lessons to get to learn to enunciate.
For someone who was a musician for many, many years and can write really good music and can, from what I've heard, can actually write guitar and all that sort of thing, you can't speak for fucking shit,
mate. What makes you think rock and roll and fucking verbal
Have you ever heard
capacity?
Ozzy Osbourne speak?
Yeah, Jesus Christ, Sharon!
Jesus Christ, Sharon! Fucking give me some fucking with the fucking.
He's got the voice of a devil-infused angel, but a fucking anyway. Lord of Wolves received a massive increase in damage with the full benefits of the shotgun changes in Season of the Drifter. This made it a lot more popular, which is why I used it. But we got a significant amount of feedback that the Wolves activating on every kill made it a bit difficult to control the weapon's ammo consumption. As a result, we're allowing you to swap between the two states of control. two states to control the output while also reducing its output slightly. Its PVE damage has been reduced by 20%.
It's fucking hard to read, isn't it, mate? It's hard to read, especially when someone isn't changing the fucking words in front of you.
Oh, shut up, Slothers. You one job. Don't complain.
Eat my ass.
And the release the Wolves perk has been reworked. It no longer triggers automatically on a kill. This effect is now triggered by holding reload. Similar to the fundamentals on Hard Light and Borealis. So you can turn it on and off, I assume, or is it just active for the next shot?
I don't really know.
It's a bit ambiguous.
I don't know what that means.
PvE damage and range.
And then get a kill. I assume you turn it on and then it's
just
active.
there. Yeah, right.
And then you can turn it off. Like, say there's only one dreg. You don't want it to
It seems to be overzealous.
Yeah.
Die, Drake,
Die, you fucking one shit drag.
Oh, there's all my ammo gone.
Yeah, it's very confusing. So PvE damage and range bonuses on this effect have been removed and replaced with a universal damage bonus instead. So what does that mean? Who knows? I guess we'll have to wait and see.
It just looks like, you know, like if you want to do something at range, like the Queen's Break, you want to do something at range, you turn it on, and then if you turn it off, you've got it up close and it works like a shotgun. That's how it reads to me. You've got a range shotgun,
and the range bonuses have been removed, so it's just it's just the same regardless now.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I mean, it could effectively be a buff. We don't know what that bonus is, right? Like,
yeah.
Anyway, they never put numbers to these fucking things.
Oh, and you guys said there was nothing good in this 12. I see the word bonus, and I'm happy, mate.
I didn't say there was nothing in this 12. Yeah, pull your head in.
I did.
Yeah, you did.
I'm sticking to my guns. I'm going down swinging. There's nothing good in this 12. Actually, there is.
Don't
There's
fucking
a couple of good videos at the end.
me into this. Don't rope me into this game.
All right, do you want to do Ace of Spades? Do you want to do Ace of Spades, big man, or do you want me to do it?
Yeah, fuck it. Why not?
Is that you're doing it or I'm doing it?
This is an interesting one. A lot of people made this reference on Twitter and Reddit. They were just like, "Oh, why didn't they nerf the Ace of Spades? Why didn't they do this?" Blah blah blah. Memento Mori now ends with the weapon when the weapon is stowed. Good. The PvP damage bonus for Memento Mori was slightly reduced to prevent two tapping guardians, while Vengeance, using the one-eyed mask, was active. Specifically, you need 4 resilience to survive this, and Memento Mori is now active for 6 shots, again up from 5. So they've nerfed the damage down for Memento Mori, but it is still exotic.
And you'll get the extra shot, and it doesn't carry over when you're stowed. And when you read the word tapping written down, I thought it said fapping. I'm like, what the fuck?
And 2 fapping guardians.
Whoa! This game is not tea for teen anymore. Anyway.
I mean, it's not the change that I was looking for, because it just lists, so sitting in voice and listening to you lot play Destiny and listening to Maxi and Nick play Destiny and all that sort of thing. They're just like, oh, fucking Ace of Spades.
Yeah, it's everywhere, man.
It's everywhere. I saw a lot of people really upset with this, and I obviously don't use a gun enough to see how that would impact me. But I think that my main comment on it was, I find it probably the wrong strategy to make a change to an exotic based on it being paired with a piece of armor. Like, doesn't that mean the armor should be changed? I feel like I'm blaming the victim. I feel like you're saying, well, you shouldn't have walked in that dark alley. Like, I feel like,
back on Alabama again. Super generating exotic armor changes. Skull of Dire Ahimkara, Orpheus Riggs, and Phoenix Protocol now receive super energy back with diminishing returns, making it rarer to get a full super back. Shards of Galanor and Ursa Furiosa have had their super gain caps reduced to be in parity with other super exotic changes, and the Gwison Vest has energy reduced from 15% to 8%, for killing 1 to 2 guardians. Still scales up to similar before when killing 3 or more guardians. PvE energy return remains similar to before. So, the reason why they have changed the Skull, Orpheus, and Phoenix protocol, that in the raid they don't want 4 hunters or 2 hunters in a raid team continually. I'm guessing there is and I'm reading this.
And
I'm
ads.
using Matt's.
What I read is there's
process.
a bunch of ads in a section that allows you to chain supers together and basically Nova the bomb.
Like totems
Nova the
on,
bomb.
on Kingsfall. It's like totems from Kingsfall. There is a lot of ads coming at you from every direction. They don't want you to have your super getting back really, really quickly.
And that's my issue is that is like, in my opinion, was the funnest encounter in a raid is like Crota's End running through the darkness with ads chasing you and just like, you know, put the Skull of Dire Kara on and literally spam Novas. And, you know, but once again, I think it's better towards the end of the cycle to have that silliness. And I don't know. I don't know where I sit on this, because when you do strikes, I just think, in my mind, strikes are the funnest. Like, they're not playing for sheep stations. Like, just let people chain supers if they can. It's a
video game. At the end of the day,
can,
like
but
we should probably quantify that unique Australianism. When we say you're not playing for sheep stations, we mean that, you know, we're not racing for pink slips.
Right? We're not racing for pinks. Like
it's not that serious. It's just
what? Wait, do you not reckon the US people understand that?
I don't know. I've never heard an American say, "Come on, mate, we're not playing for sheep stations." Have you?
There have been Australians in the voice chat when I've said we're not playing for sheep stations, and people have gone, "What?"
Oh, get out of it, Sloth. Okay. There's been Australians in your voice chat. Fucking can't even realise you speak English.
Well, look, mate, you shouldn't be fucking talking.
Let he who hath liveth in the glassest house. Sorry, Sloth. Carry on.
Shut the fuck. So they don't want people spamming supers. Cool. All right. So as Matt said, I'm reading that there is some sort of horde type of situation.
Yeah, we've basically figured out the entire raid.
Yeah. Do you want to bring up the chat in OBS log? Do you want to bring
I will
up the
shortly.
chat?
I think the thing with this, and the part of this that I find concerning, and really the only part of it that affects Titans is Ursas, and I don't really use them anyway. And you could use Doomfangs, and you know they're not there. So I think the thing
is
that
one of them things.
The thing that worries me with this is if they're going to make these changes, there is content, especially in the Reckoning and stuff like that, that is going to be really fucking hard now. And I don't think that they've factored that in. Like if they were to say, you know, which we're also changing these encounters that were designed to be in a sandbox with this, you know, with these what are now we consider overpowered armor perks. And we're going to be changing them so that they're completable, or, you know, to retain the difficulty level as it was. I think that would make a difference. That's my concern, is that, you know, with things like this that are so hardwired into the game, and, you know, they're the min-max of it, right? That if you need to be doing that to be completing the content, then the content maybe needs to change when you are no longer able to do that.
Anyway, rather. Now this is the
look. I'll be honest.
I
tuned out for a little bit.
It's fine. I was actually speaking. I was like, "What am I talking about?"
Bonus. This light on my left that's bouncing off my desk is really pissing me off.
It's a fucking Blair Witch project.
Yeah, you're not wrong. We're sympathetic to the fact that the changes we make in the interest of balancing combat and the game design can be jarring. It is important that we have this conversation before you read the patch notes. Well, we know many of you have a lot riding on day one of Season of Opulence. Hopefully, Intel will assist you in building perfect monster killing machines for the season of play. They understand that it is jarring, and it's okay to be upset. Again, it's not okay to fucking...
Yeah, don't be an abusive dickhead about it, because it's a fucking game. Calm down.
You know, it's interesting to hear their motivations at the end, that they just wanted to let you know that these are going to happen so you can prepare for the raid with other options, which, you know, is a great thing. It's almost one of those things that was like, you know, when you give someone too information, it just bites you in the ass.
Oh, yeah, that is this incarnate. That is, we're going to tell you ahead of time what the changes are. We hate the changes.
Just the amount of I'm so disappointed.
Let's not fucking do it again about the fucking people complaining.
I'm so disappointed, man.
Oh,
Yeah,
sloth
yeah.
bad, disappointed.
Yeah, sloth's upset. I'm
No,
going to
it's
take a gif of your face and just send it to the people.
Community leaders are the people, like they're the people who are supposed to be. They're the people who are supposed to be at the head of the community and sort of trying to temper the community against the developer.
Look, I'll say this.
Not against.
I'll say this, and this
not
might,
against the developer.
This might sound a little bit cutting. This
Yeah.
might sound a little bit cutting, but some of the people in our community I see more as akin to sports stars and things like that than actual, real, serious, from the ground up role models. You know how, like, when in Australia, especially when a footballer does something moronic, and everyone goes, "Oh, mate, you're a role model," but they're actually just an idiot that's good at football. That maybe there's a bit of that goes on in the Destiny community as well. And maybe some people who are on huge platforms don't fully understand the context and implications of their actions. Yeah. And it's unfortunate.
Everyone's entitled to be upset by
so
this,
there's
of course, 100%. Like if you're involved in the game, if you love the game,
right,
you're going to have.
Well, let's have it.
You're going to have a chat about. You're going to have a conversation about it. You're okay. You're allowed to be upset, but some of the things that I've seen are just.
Yeah, but Sloth, do you know who I am?
I don't give a fuck who you are.
Yeah.
I don't give a fuck how many followers you have or how many retweets you get on your fucking
I'm sorry, I've done it. I'm triggered.
I do not give a fuck. You know what? Fuck
Why did you
the
do
people.
This? You fucking silly.
Why would you do this? Why would you do?
Have you got that? Have you got that?
100,000 followers on fucking Twitter, and you're going out and tweeting shit like I'm going to fucking beat my goddamn children because Destiny 2 is fucked. Is so fucked at the moment. It's making really fucking upset. You know what? Pull your fucking head in. You're a fucking.
I'm sorry, chat. I'm sorry. Rub your ears. It's fair, bear. It's fair, bear. Can we play some Destiny music? Relax.
I'm playing the sad music.
Man.
I'm playing the sad music.
Anyway,
I don't know if you guys can hear it. You guys
I'm
can't
sorry,
hear
I
it.
shouldn't have done that.
I've been playing this underneath you blowing up, Sloth.
No, it just frustrates me.
Yeah, it's exhausting, man. Fucking some people just need to grow up. But let's get into more important shit, like whatever the fuck chat wants to talk about, and what happened this week with the invitations of the 9, Matthew, because you did a whole fucking stream about it, so you better have some information, right?
Yeah. So summary of invitation of the 9. We see another vision. It's an interaction between the Drifter and the 9. The Drifter the 9 basically say, "We've finished observing you. Thank you very much. Catch you later." And then he says, "Anything else you want me to do?" And they say, "Keep playing the game." And then he basically does the Gambit coin flip, and rather than when he flips the coin and he tells you what enemies are coming, like the Scorn or the Hive, it's the pyramid ships on the coin. So pretty much implying, like in Gambit, when you see the coin, that's the next enemy you face in Gambit. Our next enemy that we will face is going to be the pyramid ships, is sort of the implication of that cutscene, I think. And then there's some other cryptic things at the end. The 9 mentioned 2 women. I'm thinking it's Marasov and Savathun. They mention a destroyed fleet. I'm thinking the pyramid ships and probably an awoken fleet.
Are they talking about the destroyed fleet that the Leviathan destroyed as well?
I don't know.
Or the destroyed fleet that Mara was on when she became
awoken wrong? That sentence is after the coin flip with the pyramid ship. So I assume that the next space battle is pyramid ships versus something.
All right. So 2 girls, 1 fleet. What else?
2 girls, 1. Well, 2 girls, 1. Demonetized. Got him. The two women could be anyone really. I think it's Savathun and Mara, but it could be Eris Morn and Mara. It could be any 2 female characters. We don't know. We don't know if the 9 is talking about. Remember the 3 people that were worthy, the Dredgen, and then it was like it could be the other 2 people that she's mentioning, the Patience of an Hourglass and the Forgotten Blade. Could be them. I'm not too sure. And the other sort of main point was they keep calling the Drifter a liar. Essentially, it's this weird sort of 180 that the 9 found him worthy, and then now no longer observing him they're calling him a liar and saying that he's our best chance, or that we gamble our sort of survival on this liar. So my take-home message is the next enemy is going to be the pyramid ships, and they will link that content in some way to the Drifter, his haul, the 9, and that this gambit has been a preparation for the collapse, I think.
Yeah, well, far out.
I don't know. I don't know if we'll get it in Season of Opulence. I don't know, and this is what I asked chat today. I don't know if this is this going to be Destiny 3? Is this going to be Season of Opulence? I mean, it's slowly ramping up. Remember last week we also had the pyramid ships. So the incidence of pyramid ships is becoming more common or greater. You know, we had the pyramid ships first show up at the very last cutscene of Destiny 2, the Red War, and then they showed again in Marasov's Throne World in the hologram, and now they've shown up. Invitation of the 9 week 8, they showed up, and now they showed up Invitation of the 9 week 9. So does that mean we're prepping for Season of Opulence, or is this going to be D3? Don't know.
Don't know.
Well, I mean, if they're going this
Shit
hard
is
into
ramping up.
precursing D3 now, you'd have to think that it's not going to be a year and a half away then, right? That seems like it'd whack the cadence. Anyway, let's not get into that. That's a whole fucking other thing.
Think of it this way. So the average season is 3 months.
Yeah.
June 4th. It is about 20 days away. 3 months after that, 2.5 months of that, we might be seeing whatever the next iteration of Destiny is.
Yeah, I mean, we're going to have to be. I think whether it's more annual pass content or not, I'm honestly, I don't know. I convince myself I flip and flop about this every few days, but yeah, I'm not sure I haven't made my mind up.
It's a weird thing, and I am.
Just a sec.
Says wife on the
that's Rach on the floor. What the fuck was she doing?
She was trying to shut the door. It's like, I didn't say, what are you doing? Oh, wow. Oh, man, she puts up with
If you listen to this this podcast, you need to tune in. You need to find this time
just
in
for
the video.
To watch my wife crawling along the floor trying to shut the door. Because in the other room, she's got to set up a fucking hoist to hang all the clothes on. So she wanted to shut this one.
Dude, that is commitment.
She's a legend.
Crawling on the floor.
She's a fucking legend.
And that's why my door is away from my camera.
I fucking thought mine was far enough away, but it turns out not. Anyway, what are we fucking talking about? What do you reckon the Drifter's going to say when he flips over the coin for the Dorito ships? Dorito ships.
What do you mean?
Dorito ships. Bring Mountain Dew.
Oh, like if he does it in Gambit or something. Yeah. Someone just said, darkness is on the battlefield or something like that. I don't know.
That takes me straight into like a
on the field.
Charlie Murphy skit that I'm not going to repeat any of. So.
No. It's really exciting. It's really fucking
Oh,
exciting to see
Veil.
what comes next.
People have said that it's the Veil, which
Yeah,
is
that was in the
D3
league, wasn't it?
Yeah. I mean,
Mm.
Veil is a great word. It's in the lore already.
Mm.
Beyond the Veil. It's a good one. And
like
the future war cult go beyond the Veil and they see the collapse, as does anyone who goes into the who puts the future war cult
This
device
is
on.
the thing as well. So I don't know how often you guys think about this. I logged in last night to do the daily missions, and I end up doing Chosen, which is the last mission from the vanilla campaign. And the traveler's gone, exploded, killed Gaul, and just exploded across the stars. And obviously, that's where we see the pyramid ship started to draw in on our Milky Way, on our little solar system. What's the traveler going to do? Like, we hear stories, we've seen in the lore that the traveler's done some
all,
fucking
mate.
pretty
What's it
fucking
ever done? Exploded
some pretty
once.
insane shit. Well, it's exploded once, but like that's what I'm saying. Like it's kind of like it. What's the term I'm looking for here? It's come alive, and we've heard about it doing some pretty fucking fantastic shit in the past. We've got Rasputin sitting on Mars with fucking Anna Bray rather.
Rahul.
Rahul. I've been playing too much Overwatch. I've been playing too much Overwatch. Anna Bray sitting on Mars with Rasputin. Rasputin's all fucking ready to go and all this sort of thing. How? Where? Why? What's going to happen? Is it going to be an all-out war between multiple factions? Are we going to have to choose a side?
The interesting thing is, like, when you boil it down, it's going to be a circle versus a triangle. Or a globe versus a pyramid, you know, for those who like to go 3D.
Man, I'll get my 2-year-old in. She can figure that shit out.
They don't fit together.
Triangle's got sharp edges. Can pop the bubble. Done.
Yeah.
I don't know. Anyway, if you're rocking on in chat and you've got any questions, fire away. I meant to say that earlier.
How do you pop a balloon with a sharp point? Valid point by a fractured wiki.
Yeah.
Valid point with a fractured wiki. All right. So yeah, if you got any questions, queries, or if you want us to give an opinion on something, even though our opinions don't mean fucking shit because we're legitimately 3 dudes on the internet talking shit for an hour a week. From Arts and Crafts Day, thank you for the question. Michael likes bongs. Solid name. Solid fucking follow.
I was just going to say that. It's just...
I'm glad you like bongs, Michael. I'm glad you do.
Chook's been throwing around subs and we haven't referenced one of them yet. But Michael likes bongs is in with a follow. We're all over it. We love you, Chook. Don't change.
From a question from Arts and Crafts Day, I'm curious about the Exo Stranger. What really is the narrative of Destiny? That's a loaded question.
Hey,
What?
That whole question makes me want to pull a ninja poop face from last week. Just go.
I got something I could read to you guys if you like.
Go for it.
I brought
as
it
long
up
as you
on
can read it
screen.
in your normal voice, not your law voice.
Yeah, okay.
Because I want to go to sleep, but not.
Fucking
basically, you know that the writers put a deliberate troll in the lore to catch like data miners out. Like when they saw it, that was, you know, it was planted by narrative as a bit of a break the fourth wall.
Classic red herring.
Yeah.
So what was that? So what did they plant?
Yeah, so I couldn't remember where to find it. I just remember people, Mallory speaking about it, and Mr. Dino Games sent this on to me on Discord, and I forgot to mention it in my stream. So we'll give it a read now. I don't know if I've read it before, so hopefully it's not a troll. Hopefully it's not a troll.
Get on with it. Fuck's sake.
Matt, we're an hour.
Fucking preamble after preamble.
15 this is like Sloth's outros, mate. It's your intros and Sloth's outros. It's getting out of hand.
Oh, for fuck's sake. Just get off the preamble and just get it done.
Okay, I'm trying. Oh, you wonderful, curious. Oh, my voice broke. It's a bit. My voice is a bit
It's all right,
tired
everyone.
today.
Don't stare at Matt. He's going through puberty. It's fine.
I'm fucking done. I'm out. Lay up.
Oh, my voice! I feel it. I feel my voice is good. My voice is really sore. It's gonna crack. I know. Oh, you wonderful, curious things. Do you believe you're the only ones with the power to see what should not be seen? Did you believe you can use such power blithely? For your trespass, I would ruin your luck, wreak havoc on your drops, poison your engrams, and fill your lines with static. Thus, I would curse you and dissipate the bond that ties you to your tasks. How frail you guardians can be. How many millions have fallen silent, never to return because the bond did not hold them strongly enough? But you have already cursed yourselves. You have walked the anathematic arc and glimpsed creation from below. You will never forget the tenuous provisional framework you found here. You will never forgive the mortality and fallibility that underlies a world you thought was everything. Those who use this power to seek unearned knowledge will see more than they ever desired. There is a price for glimpsing the card. The card? The cord. There is a price for glimpsing the cord. You will pay it. It's a bit like it's a bit threatening.
It's
isn't it?
very demonstrative.
It's a bit threatening.
Someone had a half a bottle of scotch and has a very fucking high tier vocabulary. Just sat there like, oh, you fucking little shit.
The thing is, if you're on narrative,
So written by Yahtzee Croshaw.
if you're on narrative, you 100% could write this stuff in and no one would pick it up. You could say the most ludicrous shit in like this, and no one would it wouldn't be picked up by like Bungie or anything like that. It would go through. You'd be like, oh yeah, this is. You just tell them this is Savathun talking to Guardians. They're like, okay. You just sucked in, and now it's in the game.
So, question from Bibbletron. Actually, Bibbletron, do you want to just really nail down a question there, because there's about 4 questions there. Nasally Matt voice. Matt Lee. See, Matt's going through puberty. It's all right. From Freak Gaming. Thank you, mate. So this was the last curse week in the lore book, but we saw nothing special. Was something supposed to happen?
Yeah, interesting that.
Yeah,
I was really expecting a bit of a cutscene for the last week of the curse. The Truth to Power book is now finished. Nothing really tied up. I do think that is a bit of a mistake. I think if you're going to make people wait, it was 11 entries only released every 3 weeks. Has it been 33 weeks?
33 weeks, yeah.
I guess that makes sense, right? Since the beginning of Forsaken 2, Destiny 2 Forsaken, yeah.
Forsaken 2. Forsakening.
I guess if it's been 33 weeks, I mean, I would have loved for them to push a cutscene similar to, at least a cutscene similar to Invitation of the Nine, in that realm of, doesn't have to be long, but
yeah,
there'd be something.
I was very surprised. I was very surprised, and like, you know what? Now I'm equally interested in, like, this was the last week that there was lore for. What happens next week, right? Like, is it not this week? Have we misread what's happening? Like, this is the closure, and then the next week is the week that it happens.
Yeah, I mean, there's some comments in chat like the curse was not meant to end. Yeah, so I think that's probably the rebuttal is like,
yeah,
okay, it's 33 weeks, but there's no conclusion. So I guess that's fair. But my sort of argument is having something drop every 3 weeks really does build up hype. And I think there probably was an expectation that there would be something at the end of this path after all the entries were available. I get that maybe they hadn't planned on that, and that's okay, and that we'll get an answer elsewhere. But I think this comes down to a conversation of what things as a like narrative team do you answer, and what things do you leave untold. And I think obviously we're going to get an answer to Savathun at some point, Is that going to be season of opulence? Is that going to the curse? You know,
As just came up in chat, Matt. So 3 weeks until opulence, which is another cycle.
oh yeah. So, once again, we got to see what happens in opulence. But I will be disappointed if. I mean, this story's been told for be coming up to a year.
Yeah, it seems like a very, very long arc to not pay it off, right?
Yeah. I don't know.
Opulence. Opulence kicks off on the full curse. Interesting. Now, a question here from Bibletron: is the crown of sorrow a foreshadow to Savathun? Yes,
I think so. I mean,
I do very much believe that it is a foreshadow of Savathun for my very minimal knowledge of this game.
I mean, I haven't really given it too much thought, but my initial gut feeling is, sorrow is associated with the Hive, Books of Sorrow, Weapons of Sorrow.
Yep.
Crown of Sorrow being whoever has taken the throne, and I think Savathun is probably the best prediction of that.
There's actually a really solid write-up on exactly this question by Anon on Ishtar.
God,
if you want to go and read it, it was a good read.
I haven't read it yet. Was it really good?
There's no really answers. You will find no answers, only more questions, as is the way with most things Anon does. But
many questions.
Yeah, I mean, he alludes to the fact that it may well be something tied in with, I mean, an emperor wears a crown too, right? The Cabal Emperor.
Another question as well. There's another question as well. Prince Aldrin, cutscene, wake up, pulled pork. There you go. How you going?
Yeah, I wake up and pull my pork too. It's fine. Moving on.
Wouldn't have said that.
Late in the day.
Fuck is this podcast?
I don't know.
Yeah, wrap it up.
With no narrative moving forward, I think we'll see more of Aldrin in Season of Opulence.
Do you reckon?
I reckon we will.
All right, are we getting into that time where we start making rash calls about what the next content is going to be, and we're all
I don't think it's that rash, mate. I don't think it's that rash.
Yeah,
we'll see more of Mara. I will see more of Mara. Like two women. What are two very well-known women of recent memory in Destiny 2 that has something to do with the lore?
Anna Bray.
Savathun, and recently Savathun and Mara.
Yeah, I think so.
That's
Varix. Is Varix female?
No, Varix is a gender-neutral helicopter.
He identifies as an Apache attack helicopter. I forgot that. Fair enough.
Yes. I reckon that he'll.
I've opened a floodgate to some very oddly specific personal questions. Let's move
on. From Superfine Goblin, also remember the narrative of Nessus in the mission against the Cabal in the Cistern. Opulence was mentioned there.
Yeah, you're talking about the adventure on Nessus, right?
Yeah. From Exile Dark Elf at Mylan Games, do you think the sisters are working together?
It wouldn't be. It would be unusual for two Hive gods to collaborate. I think because they moved apart from each other. They sort of need their own space to heal and grow.
That and their underlying ethos kind of contradicts each other, right? Like they're all put that way for a reason. Oryx was the power and.
They sort of say that their love is war. They kill each other to grow. Like, if you love me, you'll kill me and prove that one of us is stronger. Sort of deal. It's like, it's not. What did you call cuddles? Cuddles. It was not cuddles. It's not
all smacks in the Hive household.
It's all smacks in the Hive household.
No presents for Christmas, just smacks. Merry Fistmas.
Reference from Michael Likes Bongs. Mara and Eris are connected. Yeah, 100%. And Hamid Walrus, weird that a reference to Eris Morn falls on the week that two women are referred to in the invitation.
Yeah. The Truth to Power book mentions Eris again on the same week that Invitation of the Nine mentioned two women. Eris is untrusted because of her
I don't know.
Dalliance.
Dalliance.
Dalliance with the hive.
She gave us some fucking celery, mate. I trust her.
She's trusted amongst Guardians. She's not trusted amongst the Vanguard anyway.
Speak for yourself. I don't trust anyone whose eyes leak.
Black goo.
Yeah. It's ordinary.
Oh, you haven't seen me without my makeup then, mate.
No, I haven't, thankfully.
Guys, remember Xivu Arath is the master of war. She is stronger and more feared than Savathun from Ice Joe TM.
I can't remember if Xivu Arath is male or female. I'm pretty sure it started off as a male.
Didn't they all start off as female and then Oryx did the...
I thought they all started off as female and then Oryx did the...
They were sisters.
Thing.
Yeah, sorry, they were. But I thought that Xivu also became male at one point.
Well, I mean...
I don't know.
It's 2019, you can do that. Do what you
want. Solid questions, guys.
This has been
solid
good.
Questions.
Serious.
It's been good. It's to be perfectly honest with you, I would love to chat this out, but I need to go pick up this chair because fucking back is killing me.
Yeah, I'm sick of you.
Fucking...
Yeah, you look like a dwarf. We can wrap it up right now if you want. Let's do that.
It's up to you. I'm in.
Yeah, go for it. I wouldn't be the same without Sloth closing the joint out. It'd just be wrong.
All right. So just remember the questions. Questions will be answered in the coming weeks. A lot of changes will come in the coming weeks, and we'll see.
Music.
We'll see. We'll see some things. We'll see some things coming in the. We'll see some things made more apparent in the coming weeks. Yeah.
You'll see some shit.
All right. You'll see some motherfucking shit, ladies and gentlemen. Trust me on that.
What do we got coming up, boys? Matt, you got a video coming out this week that isn't on Anthem, for God's sake.
I have a video coming out Monday morning Australia, Sunday night US on Mithrax and the House Light, and Gamma Trap will be doing some Fallen Guardian artwork, which I think will be dope.
That'll be unreal. Slothy, what is your plan for this coming week?
If my OBS can hold up and the backbone between Sydney and North Queensland can hold up, more streams, starting Sekiro on Sunday, and then more Destiny this week, which I actually do want to play more Destiny to get up to level and all that sort of shit. But Sekiro and Destiny upcoming. What about yourself?
I am going to stream, but I've also sent a song over to Wall he's going to start making the clip for it. So there'll be a song within the next couple of probably week or so, I imagine. He works far faster than I do because he's capable and excellent. So
ladies and gentlemen,
but yeah, I'm going to stream tonight, so if anyone's rocking on, yeah, you can just swing by. Should do links.
Twitch.tv/LogPowerSlave. Guys, thank you so much to our live audience for hanging out. Thank you very much. That is really fucking loud. Thank you very much for all of your comments and having a chat about what's upcoming in Destiny and the nerfs and the changes and all that sort of thing. You guys are pretty fucking fantastic. If we've missed anything, questions, queries, doubtful points, or anything like that, hit us up on Twitter at DDU_podcast, at LogPowerSlave, at Mylan Games, at Realtime Sloth. Also hit us up in the comments of the YouTube video if you feel so inclined. If you're one of our audio only listeners, thank you very much for your continued patronage. And guys, if you're Australian,
go and vote, for fuck's sake. Go and vote.
As much as this election is fucking utter horseshit, and I fully will say that with no qualms.
We just don't want you to get a fine. We don't want you to get a fine. Go and vote.
Don't get a fine. Go and vote. It's important. All right. Cool. All right. Go get your democracy sausage.
Yes.
All right.
The law is coming for you, crawling on its hands and knees, trying to avoid being in the camera shot and closing the door.
I'm in so much fucking trouble. All right, stand by for a raid, ladies and gents.